हेलो फ्रेंड्स, हाउ आर यू? कैसे हो आप सभी लोग? अच्छे हो? बढ़िया हो? तो दोस्तों, जैसे 20 मार्च में सीए फाइनल की आपको सबसे बेस्ट फैकल्टी मिलती है, तो इस बार 20 मार्च आपके लिए बहुत अच्छी खबर लेके आ रहे हैं, बहुत खुश खबर लेके आ रहे हैं। और वो ये है कि आपका जो इलेक्टिव पेपर है, जो ग्रुप 2 में आता है, इलेक्टिव पेपर में पहले इसका था और अभी इलेक्टिव पेपर में, जिसमें अराउंड टोटल 7 अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स हैं। और स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत सी बार ये प्रॉब्लम जाता है कि सर इसमें से हम कौन सा पेपर सिलेक्ट करें, कौन सा हम सिलेक्ट ना करें। तो एज अ टैक्स फैकल्टी तो मैं बहुत सी बार तो कह देता हूँ इंटरनेशनल टैक्सेशन ले लो, ओके। लेकिन यस बेटा, ये सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज स्टूडेंट्स को ये जाता है रिगार्डिंग टू इलेक्टिव पेपर कि सर कौन सा पेपर हम सिलेक्ट करें। सो बेटा, आज मैं आपको यस हमारी मोस्ट एनर्जेटिक, एमिनेंट और यंग फैकल्टी से इंट्रोड्यूस करवाना चाहूंगा सीए सीएफए नारायण मूर्ति। तो यस नारायण, हेलो हेलो नारायण, कैसे हो आप?
I'm good, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the introduction.
यस, तो दोस्तों मेरे साथ सीए सीएफए नारायण मूर्ति हैं। ये आपको इलेक्टिव पेपर के बारे में जानकारी देंगे। सबसे पहले तो स्टूडेंट्स का जो क्वेश्चन होता है कि सर इलेक्टिव पेपर में से ये 7 सब्जेक्ट में से हमें कौन सा सब्जेक्ट सेलेक्ट करना चाहिए, तो इसके बारे में ओके। तो सबसे पहले मैं यस यहाँ पे नारायण मूर्ति, इन्हें मैं ये चाहूंगा कि ये आपको अपना पूरा इंट्रोडक्शन दे, और उसके बाद में नारायण से ये समझ लेंगे कि ये इलेक्टिव पेपर, ओके, ये पेपर में हमारा सिलेक्शन कैसा होना चाहिए, और यहाँ पे कौन सा पेपर आपका यहाँ पे इजी जाएगा। और एक बहुत अच्छी खबर जो यहाँ पे मैं आपको बाद में सुनाऊंगा। तो यस नारायण, प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ।
My name is Narayan Murthy Kupala. I'm a chartered accountant and a CFA. So I qualified CA in 2010. After qualifying CA, I worked for an investment bank. Actually, worked for an investment banking division of Bank of America as an equity research analyst. To be very specific, I worked as an equity research analyst on the sell side. So after working there for a couple of years, I moved on to full-time teaching. So for the past 9 years, I've been teaching for CA and CFA. Of course, sometimes I used to teach for FRM also. So for CA, I've taught at all the 3 levels. And for CFA, I taught at level 1 and level 2. And for FRM, I taught parts of part 1. So that's basically about me, sir. And
So yes,
most of the time, I used to teach at Hyderabad. And sometimes I used to teach at Bangalore as well.
so yes Narayan, just I want to ask some few questions.
Sure, sir.
Can you guide for how a selection student should make in that elective paper group 2, because they always in dilemma कि ये subject ले या ये subject ले. Okay, so how their selection should be?
Okay. So before discussing about which elective they should choose, first we should discuss about what is this elective paper, what is the concept of this elective paper, and how this is different compared to the other 7 papers.
Yes, correct.
So the elective paper, the exam format, it's an open book format. So if we compare this elective paper compared to the other papers, the other 7 papers have a traditional format. That is, a student is supposed to learn the concept, memorize the concepts, and then write the examination. So it's a straightforward pattern which they have been following right from their schooling. And whatever college exams also they are writing, it's the same format. But when it comes to the elective paper, it has an open book format. So with the open book format, what the students can do is they can carry the material to the examination hall, whether it is printed material or handwritten material, whatever it is. So because of this reason, what happens is some are of the opinion that this paper could be easy because all they have to do is just look at the answers and write it.
Yes.
But what ICAI has done is it came up with case-based questions. So they are going to ask only case-based questions.
Yes.
So here what happens is because of the unique nature of the case-based examination question paper, ICAI can't ask the same case again and again, sir. So they'll be asking only once. So each and every case is unique. So they'll not be asking any straightforward or direct questions. So as per what ICAI has stated, the questions are going to be application-based questions. So application-based questions in the sense, the student should have a thorough understanding of the concept. They don't need to memorize each and every point, but they need to have a thorough understanding of the concept. And they should be able to practically apply these concepts. That is, apply these concepts to real life scenarios. To give you an example, we have all, in schooling and also during CPT or foundation, we've all studied the concept of measures of central tendency in statistics. So we learn these concepts of mean, median, etc. So in the examinations, what usually happen is they ask us to calculate the arithmetic mean or geometric mean or calculate the median. And they may be asking like, what are the characteristics of mean or median, etc. But when it comes to application-based questions and open book examination, what they will do is they'll not be asking these kind of questions. They'll just give a scenario and they'll say that, and they'll give some data set and they'll ask, in this scenario, based on the data that is given, which is the most suitable measure of central tendency? That is the kind of questions they'll be asking. So we'll not be finding ready-made answers for these kind of questions in the book. So unless we understand the concept fully, we'll not be able to answer such questions. So that is the basic difference between the elective paper and the traditional papers. So here it's not going to be straightforward. They'll not ask any straightforward questions. It's all application-based questions.
That means it's not easy. It's like DT or IDT. So like
Yes.
other subject, what happened कि for elective papers students को ऐसा लगता है कि no ये easy है, ये तो open book exam है, and we can write easily and we can score easily. But yeah, I think it's not easy because also I have seen in last 2-3 years, okay, it's difficult to get a mark because as you said, it is totally based on case study and there is no repetition. So yes, so what do you think, Narayan? It's easy or difficult?
That's a difficult. Actually, this question is difficult to answer, sir. So the thing is, it's not about easy or difficult, sir. One way to look at it, some people may feel that the exam is going to be easy because it is open book examination. They don't need to memorize anything because for some subjects, what they have to do is they have to cram up everything into the brain and just vomit it out during the examination. That is what students feel, especially in the case of ISCA. That is what many have been doing. Whether they understood the concepts or not, they've been just cramming it up and they're writing. So that is one way to look at it. But the other way to look at it is, as it is an open book, as it is a case-based examination, obviously they are not going to ask any direct questions. They'll be asking application-based questions. So the unique thing about these application-based questions, as I told you, they can't ask straightforward questions. For example, straightforward questions in the sense, write short notes on so-and-so concept, list out the merits and demerits of so-and-so concept. So they can't ask such questions, sir. The probability to ask such direct questions is relatively low. Okay. So one advantage for the students is they don't need to memorize these concepts, but they should have a thorough understanding of the concepts. So to give you an example, in paper 2 SFM and in FSCM, there's a common topic, sir, called mutual funds. So in SFM, in the past examinations, they used to ask a question like, what are the differences between open-ended scheme and closed-ended scheme? So those are the kind of questions they have been asked. So a student doesn't need to really understand the differences. If they understand it, well and good. But if they memorize it and write it in the examination, they'll definitely get marks. So that is how it is in the case of SFM. But when it comes to FSCM, what happened is, in one of the exams, they did not ask these differences directly. They just gave the balance sheet for 2 years of a mutual fund scheme. And then they asked the student to identify that as either open-ended scheme or closed-ended scheme. So what happens is they never learn, like nobody is there to actually explain how to identify a mutual fund scheme because it's not there in the books. And even if they carry any book, they'll not be able to write the answer. The only way to write such answers is to have a complete understanding of the concept. So if they fully understood what the differences are, and if they understood how to practically apply these concepts, then they'll be able to answer. So unfortunately, what happened is, though this is an open book examination, so many students were unable to write the answer for that question, though it's actually a very simple question. So the basic difference is, you don't need to memorize everything, but whatever you learn, you have to have a complete understanding of it. So as you were saying, sir, many students were not able to score well. Actually, the thing is, it's a mixed bag, I should say. There are some students who scored excellent marks in the elective paper, even though they haven't scored well in the traditional subjects. And vice versa has also happened. That is, there are some students who scored well in the traditional subjects, but were unable to score well in the elective paper, because it's in the difference of the attitude that the students have, and there's a difference in the approach they have. So they are having the same approach. If they have the same approach for the elective paper, then they'll not be able to score well. And even in the recent exam results also, if we observe, in November 2020, the All India first ranker, she has scored the second least marks in the elective paper, and the All India second ranker scored the least marks in the elective paper. And even in Jan 2021 results, which were announced recently, very recently, the All India first ranker scored the least marks in the elective paper. So if this is what happens to the top rankers, we can think what may happen to the others. We can just imagine what is going on in the minds of the other students. But at the same time, there are students who scored more than 90 in all these elective papers. So it's all about a difference in the attitude and a difference in the approach. They can't have the same approach for the elective paper which they have for the other papers. So that's the basic difference.
यस तो दोस्तों मैं एक बात आपको सबको बताना चाहूंगा, और वो ये बात है कि नारायण जो है यहाँ पे लास्ट 3 ईयर से जो हमारा जो इलेक्टिव पेपर है FSCM मतलब फाइनेंशियल सर्विस एंड कैपिटल मार्केट, सही कह रहा हूँ ना नारायण? यस, FSCM ये सब्जेक्ट जो है वो पढ़ा रहे हैं, और नाउ ही गॉट अ गुड नॉलेज इन फाइनेंशियल मार्केट. उन्होंने लगभग 8 इयर्स इसमें यहाँ पे सर्व किया है फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज इस इंडस्ट्री में. तो बहुत अच्छी खबर कि बी स्मार्ट ये पोर्टल पे अब नारायण जो है, नारायण भी FSCM ये सब्जेक्ट पढ़ाने वाला है. तो यस नारायण, जस्ट मैं आपको ये पूछना चाहूंगा कि can you explain anything about FSCM, how this subject is more supportive for getting good marks in elective paper, yes, as compared to other subjects?
So first of all, there are 6 elective subjects, sir. Out of these 6 elective subjects, there's one elective subject which is multidisciplinary case studies, which covers all the subjects. So it's up to students whether they are going to choose that elective or not. So leaving that elective aside, there are 5 elective subjects. And in these 5 elective subjects, there are 2 subjects which more or less have to do with finance. One is financial services and capital markets, and the other one is risk management. But based on the changes in the syllabus that they have made and the curriculum that ICAI has designed, I am of the opinion that financial services and capital markets has more to do, it has more to do with CA students rather than risk management subject. Because chartered accountants, as we all expect, are supposed to be all-rounders in finance. And because of the specialization that has been happening recently, so CAs, once they are qualified, they are moving into the service sector, and they are specializing only in one particular stream. So financial services, when it comes to career opportunities, financial services and capital markets, it provides lots of opportunities to the recently qualified chartered accountants. I mean, if we talk about banking, or if we talk about even the treasury department of each and every corporate or company, or if we talk about investment banking and the financial services industry, or even if we talk about the big 4, that is the auditing firms, there is something called a transaction advisory unit, sir. So the opportunities, there are lots of opportunities, and even the syllabus that is covered in FSCM. So there's lots of variety in the syllabus, sir. That is, each and every chapter has no relation with the other chapters. So there's lots of variety in the subject that is being dealt here. And obviously, it's chartered accountants who are given the prime responsibility of raising capital, etc., sir, whether it is through a public issue or private placements, anything. So in the future, if these fresh chartered accountants, if they want to climb up the ladder of corporate hierarchy, obviously they need to have knowledge about all these elements. So that is why I feel that this subject is will be a very good choice for CA students.
Means ये subject जो है not only for exam, also for future life after CA, बहुत beneficial है student.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. That's what I'm. And one more thing, sir, even if we look at any business newspaper also, so 90% of the content which is discussed in the business newspaper, the articles which are discussed in the business newspapers, or even if we just switch on the TV and watch any business news channel, I would say that more than 90% of the content which is discussed there is relevant to FSCM, whereas less than 10% of what is discussed there is relevant to all the other subjects combined. I am not belittling the other subjects, sir, but when it comes to practical application, there's no subject which beats FSCM as such. However, when it comes to career opportunities, I would rank GFRS as the best subject, sir. And only after GFRS, I would rank FSCM. But FSCM and GFRS, they have ample career opportunities for students. And I would not say much about the other subjects, sir.
Okay, so Narayan, yes, you very well explained about selection in this elective paper and FSCM. Okay, this paper. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि स्टूडेंट ने एग्जाम के हिसाब से भी ये सिलेक्ट करना चाहिए एज वेल एज फ्रॉम फ्यूचर में अगर प्रैक्टिस करना है तो ये जो सब्जेक्ट है डेफिनेटली उनको बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा. नाउ नारायण, यस, is there I heard that because you already taking classes in Hyderabad, for FSCM, and now yes, you have joined V Smart Academy, so no doubt a good faculty is coming to V Smart Academy. तो ये V Smart Academy का एक वैल्यू एडिशन है और डेफिनेटली मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आप V Smart Academy में ज्वाइन हुए हैं फॉर दिस सब्जेक्ट FSCM. लेकिन नारायण,
actually it's an honor to be part of your academy, sir. Like you are, I would say I'm very humbled with whatever you said, and I'll take it as a great opportunity to be part of V Smart, sir.
Thank you, thank you. And सभी को एक बात बता दूं, Narayan was my student in 2010, I think.
2009, sir. 2009.
2009, not 2009 for indirect taxes. Okay, Narayan, just I heard about your exempted guaranteed plan. What is that? Because yes, before last time we had discussed about exempted guaranteed plan. What is that? Can you explain?
Yeah, sure, sir. So what we are doing is we are offering this FSCM in two plans, sir. One is a regular plan, and the other one is exemption guaranteed plan. So what this regular plan is, it contains the video classes of all the main chapters and the SEBI regulations. So it covers everything, sir. So when it comes to exemption guaranteed plan, so we have the same video classes which we have for regular plan. But in addition, we are also offering these revision classes, sir.
Okay.
So the revision classes are for 9 to 10 hours. So what happens is the student just the day before the examination, if they watch these revision classes, that would be more than enough for them to appear for the exam confidently, sir. And I'm of the firm belief, based on whatever we have already recorded and whatever we have seen, I'm very confident that these revision classes are going to help them to achieve 10 to 15 additional marks. So if a student can get 60 marks with regular plan, they can get 75 marks. So that is what I believe because of the way in which we design the revision classes. So that is one difference, sir. But the main difference between regular plan and the exemption guaranteed plan is we are offering a full fee refund to the student if they are not able to score 60 marks or more in FSCM. So if the student scores even 59 marks in FSCM, we are going to offer a full fee refund to the students. I have to explain why we came up with this particular plan. The thing is, students, they are confused about this elective paper, sir. First of all, because they are not used to this open book examination, and they are not used to having a case-based examination. That is where all the questions are case-based. So there's lots of confusion among the student community. They don't know how to approach this subject. So some people are saying that this paper is, elective paper is easy because it's open book. But some people are worried because of the case-based nature of the examination. So to avoid any confusion and to instill confidence in them, we came up with this plan, sir. So that what we are saying is our message is very clear. You don't worry about these marks. You just put your efforts and follow our approach, whatever methodology that we have designed, just follow that methodology. And we guarantee that you are going to score 60 marks or more in FSCM. So that is the assurance that we are giving. And and as I should say this, sir, that almost 80% of the students who have joined for our FSCM classes till date, they have chosen this exemption guaranteed plan rather than the regular plan, because they are concerned about getting the aggregate in group 2. So even if there are many students who pass in all the 4 subjects, they are concerned about getting the aggregate and all. So we are giving them the confidence that they are going to score well, and we are saying that just follow our methodology, follow our approach. You don't need to worry about the new pattern or new system, because they are never used to this new system. So we are giving them the confidence, and our classes are designed in such a manner that is, visually speaking, the way we visualize the classes, the way we compile the classes. So we can say with confidence that we are going to take the students from whatever level they are currently to whatever level is expected by ICAI for this elective papers. That is the application oriented knowledge which ICAI wants to instill in the students. So we have designed our classes accordingly. So our FSCM classes, I can say with confidence that we designed all these classes with open book case-based examination format. So I'm not sure whether any other person or other faculty has designed such way. But
no, yes, first time I heard that. First time in India, you have offered such plan, and that is exempted guaranteed plan. And I am, मेरे नॉलेज में तो कोई और दूसरा नहीं है कि जो यहाँ पे इस तरह का कॉन्फिडेंटली ये प्लान दे रहा है. Just Narayan, another question. Is there any condition, just you just said that if students not getting exemption or okay, इनको exemption नहीं मिला तो they are eligible for refund. Okay, is there any specific condition for this refund?
There are no conditions, sir. There's only one condition. I have to be very clear regard to this matter. So there's just one condition, sir. The student should secure 40 marks or more in each of the other 3 papers, sir. That is in costing SCMPE, in DT and IDT. So if they score 40 or more in each of these papers, and if they fail to score less than 60 marks or more in FSCM, we are going to offer a full fee refund. I have to explain this, sir, why we came up with this condition, because some people are asking like why you're tying up with the other 3 subjects. Correct. You have no relation with the other 3 subjects. There's a very clear reason, sir. I think everybody can understand this. So what usually, based on our observation, what usually happens is students, most of the students, they chose both the groups when they are filling up the examination form. So they want to attempt both the groups. But as the exam approaches within the next 1 month or 1.5 months, if they have the examination, then they have a rethink, sir, because of lack of preparation or lack of confidence. What usually happens is they just want to focus on one group and they put the second group on the back burners. This is the common observation that we made. So what happens because of this is they'll score well in the first group, but as they haven't focused on the second group, they score very low marks, like maybe 5 or 10, even single-digit marks, etc. So they are just writing the second group only for the sake of practice. They focus only on the first group. So we can't offer a refund to such students, even if they score 55 in FSCM, and if they're scoring single-digit marks in the other subjects. We are sure that they are not serious about group 2 because they focused on group 1. So we are not going to offer refund to such students. Our message is very clear. Focus, when you're focusing on group 2, just to score 40 marks. That's it. 40 marks in each of the other 3
So only papers. That is the basic condition, to score 40
marks. That's the only condition, sir. There are no other conditions. That's the only condition. Score 40 in the other 3 papers, and we are guaranteeing that you are going to get 60 or more. We are saying 60, sir, but obviously they are going to get more than 60. We know that, sir. We have that.
Great. Very good. Great. So मुझे ऐसा लगता है मैं फिर से सीए कर लूं और आपका भी सब्जेक्ट लगा लूं एक बार.
Thank you.
Okay. So Narayan, just I want to ask, okay, can student change this elective paper later?
Yes, sir. As per ICAI, whatever rules they have made, so students can select the elective paper when they are joining the CA final. But the final choice is made when they are appearing for the examination, sir. So when they're filling up the examination form, then they have to select the elective paper. And the thing is, even, after giving the examination, for the next attempt, if they want to change the elective paper also, they can do it. So there's no restriction as such, sir. And talking about changing from other elective paper to FSCM about our classes, if any student is interested in joining our classes, even though they have chosen some other elective paper, I'll say that for the May exam as well, there's ample time for them to prepare for FSCM if they join our classes, because they can complete our classes within 2 weeks by just preparing by attending our classes for 3 hours a day. That is, they can watch our classes for 3 hours and they can complete it within 2 weeks. And from then for the next 1 month, for the next 30 days, they need to prepare only for 1.5 hours and they can focus on the other subjects. So they don't need to stress out regarding this paper or regarding this elective. So if they're not very confident about the other elective choice that they've made, they can shift to FSCM and we give them the guarantee that they are going to get 60 marks or more, even with this less time that is available. So we are offering this exemption guaranteed plan for the next 3 to 4 weeks as well. So those who join with our FSCM plan for May 2021 examination, we are offering this exemption guaranteed plans.
Okay, man. Just last question.
Sure.
Do you want to give any advice to the students specifically for selection of elective paper?
Yes, sir. I mean, advice in the sense, like what I would say is, students have to select the elective paper based on their personal interests, like in which particular subject they are interested into. Of course, they may not have much knowledge about which is the most suitable subject to them at the very initial stage, but they have to do their homework and they have to just look at the content of each elective and then they have to make the selection, sir. That is one thing. And second thing is, they also have to consider the career opportunities that are available for each and every elective subject. So based on that, they have to make their decision. So if they want to go into particular stream after completing CA, then they have to make the selection accordingly. So if they choose economic laws, for example, and if they want to get into taxation or if they want to get into auditing, so obviously the interviewer is going to ask, like, why did you choose this paper if you want to get into this particular industry or this particular role or profile? So the student should understand that after qualifying, they should be able to answer to such questions. They are ready with answers. That is what they need to ensure. So they have to consider all these factors. But unfortunately, what's happening is, based on my observation, students are joining based on the recommendation of other students. So if there is an article, if there is a CA firm, and if there are some 10 article students, so one particular student is selecting one elective paper and everyone else is also choosing that same elective paper because this person is influencing the others. I don't think that is the right approach because the other person is not going to write your examination. You have to select your elective paper based on your strengths and weaknesses. If you're not comfortable with a particular elective, you are not supposed to choose that elective. So just choose based on your personal strengths and weaknesses, your interests, and what kind of a career you want to have after completing the CA. So don't go with this herd mentality. Don't just join because others are joining. And for this, what they are saying is they have this herd mentality because many people, they are assuming that certain papers are easy and certain papers are difficult. There's no such thing. No elective is easy as such and no elective is difficult as such. Of course, I will not talk about multidisciplinary case studies. That is different. But in the 5 elective papers, everything is equally difficult and equally easy. It all depends on your approach. The student's approach should change without changing your attitude or approach. If you have these false notions that certain papers are easy and certain papers are difficult, it is not going to work out for you. To give an example, sir, what happened is in November 2018, the pass percentage for international taxation was 74%, which is a very good.
I remember that. I remember. Yes,
which was very good percentage. Of course, the other electives also had similar pass percentage. But immediately in May 2019, what happened is the pass percentage for international taxation fell sharply to 31%, less than half of 74%.
Yes, correct. You're saying it.
These notions that certain papers are easy or difficult it's not accurate because we have just seen how the pass percentage has sharply fallen. And again, immediately in the next attempt, the pass percentage has suddenly risen. The same is the case with economic laws because initially many students thought that economic laws is relatively easy. But what happened is, again, recently we have seen that in November 2020 paper, many students, they were, after writing the examination, they were saying that this is totally a bouncer for me. I was not expecting this kind of question paper. And even the results, it's visible because, as I said, the top rankers, they scored their least and second least marks in the elective paper, and all of them coincidentally have chosen this economic laws. So what I'm saying is, each and every paper, it can be made difficult and it can be made easy. It all depends on ICAIs. If ICAI wants to really ask tough questions, they can ask tough questions in any paper. And even in my paper, I have to say FSCM, the questions, sometimes they are difficult, sometimes they are easy. But if ICAI wants to really ask tough questions, even in FSCM, they can ask very tough questions. So my only suggestion to students is, don't go with these kind of false notions that certain papers are easy and certain papers are difficult. It should be, yes, you should change your approach and change your attitude. Follow with the approach that ICAI is suggesting you, that is, you need to have application oriented knowledge, gain that knowledge. In that case, any paper would be easy for you. So that's what I can say to the students. That's my suggestion.
Okay, नारायण। दोस्तों, जस्ट मैं एक बात आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि जनरली ऐसा होता है कि ये जो इलेक्टिव पेपर है, जो भी फैकल्टीज इलेक्टिव पेपर ले रही है, ओके, उनके लिए ये पेपर जो है, ये इसके जो क्लासेस है वो सेकेंडरी होते हैं कि भाई मेन क्लासेस लॉ हो गया, इकोनॉमिक लॉ सेकेंडरी हो गया, या मेन क्लासेस एफएम हो गया, एंड नाउ ये एफएससीएम सेकेंडरी हो गया। नाउ बट नारायण इज टोटली फोकस ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट, okay, and yes, when last time I talked with Narayan, so most of the students got more than 60 marks in this subject. So yes, मैं आपको सबको ये सजेस्ट करना चाहूँगा कि आप इनके वीडियो लेक्चर्स, ये जो YouTube पे है डेमो लेक्चर्स, जरूर देखिएगा। The level of teaching and that expertise knowledge definitely आपको बहुत बेनिफिट होगा दोस्तों। तो yes, Narayan, welcome to V Smart. Okay, and congratulations for becoming a part of V Smart.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor.
So दोस्तों, yes, तो आप जरूर इनके डेमो लेक्चर देखिएगा। टोटली फोकस फैकल्टी ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट। वैसे वी स्मार्ट इसमें बहुत वैल्यू करता है। मैं 17 साल से सिर्फ इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस पढ़ा रहा हूँ। आज बहुत सा नॉलेज ये सब्जेक्ट का मुझे नारायण से मिला। ओके, सो दोस्तों, आप जरूर इनके डेमो लेक्चर लिखिए, और अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो आप जरूर वी स्मार्ट से पढ़ाई कीजिएगा। Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.